Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're going to show you a few more features of SSMS or SQL Server Management Studio. Specifically, we're going to show you how to generate some scripts, move some data around, and make a configuration to SQL Server Management Studio. So the first thing we need to do is connect to our instance of SQL Server. We'll click on Connect in Database Engine. And we'll select our instance of SQL Server. On your machine, you'll probably just have one. We'll click Connect, and there we have it. There it is. I'm going to assume that you've already finished the first video and you've created an empty database, and that you've also restored the course database onto your machine. I wanted to show you here real quick. There's a different way you can connect as well. If we want to disconnect, we can click right here and click on this, and that'll disconnect us. We can also use this right here. That'll bring up this dialog, and then you can once again connect just the same way as you did right here. So if we wanted to write a new query, we can right click on the instance of SQL Server and click on New Query. One thing you might notice right away whenever you first install SSMS is that you don't have line numbers. On mine, I do have line numbers. If you would like to have line numbers on your text editor, the way that you do it is you click on Tools, Options, you go to Text Editor, Transact SQL, and then make sure that the line numbers box is checked. So once you've installed or once you've restored the course database to your machine, you'll have it right here. It's called SQL Course. We can expand it and take a look at the tables. There's just a few tables in here, and at the time of this recording, there's only 5, but you might have more whenever you restore it. These tables are a lot larger than the ones you have access to in the course via the online course. These tables are very large. I want to say that the crime data table has about 76,000 rows in it. And if you didn't see me how I did that there, I right-clicked on the table and clicked Select Top 1,000 rows. That generates a script and then executes this script, and we can see what the data looks like. Another thing I want to show you here is you can right-click on a table, and you have quite a few options here. SSMS is very feature-rich. If we go over to here to Script Table As and go to Create To, we can click on New Query Editor window. And what this does is it's going to generate a script for us, which will generate a script to create our table. So if we click on this, it's going to open up a new window, and it's going to create the SQL needed in order to create this table. Now, of course, if we try to execute this right now by clicking on Execute or F5, we'll get an error saying that there is already an object named crime data in the database. And sure enough, there it is. Now, one thing we can do is we can create this table in our other database. So you'll notice this little statement up here. It says use SQL course. This tells SQL Server that we want to execute this script on the SQL course database. But if we change this to match the name of our other database, in my case, it's called FirstDB, and we execute it, we shouldn't have any issues. Now, if we go over to FirstDB and we expand tables, we should see our crime data table. Now, of note, if we right-click on this database and we try to select some data out of it, you'll see that it is empty. Because all that this script does was create the table. It doesn't move any data into it. Now, if we did want to copy the data from this table into this table, there is a way to do that. And here's how we would do it. First, we would right-click on the database, and we would go to Tasks. Next, we would go to Generate Scripts. And then we could click on Select Specific Database Objects. We can expand the tables and click on Crime Data. Go to Next. And then we want to click on Advanced. Now, there's a ton of options here, but the one that we're interested in is right down here on Types of Data to Script. We already have the schema, which is how the data or how the table is composed and all its columns. What we want is the actual data out of this table. So we'll go to data only. We'll hit OK. And it gives you the option to put the script in your computer somewhere, named script. But what we're going to do is actually just save it to the clipboard. Now, there's a lot of data in this, so it might take just a moment for it to generate. We'll click on Next, Next, and it's getting the list of objects. It's preparing the SQL statement, and it saved it to the clipboard. So if we go to Finish, now, so that is saved in the clipboard, just as if you had copied it. So if we go over here to First Database, right-click, go to New Query. We have a brand new window here. And what I'm going to do is just right-click and paste. And it'll take just a moment because there's a lot of data in the clipboard. And there we go. Lots and lots of lines. So we can click on Execute or F5. And then this will put all of the data into this table. And that is one way that you can generate a script to move data from one table to another. All right, I've gone ahead and just cut out the part of the video where the script was executing. As you see, it took 1 minute and 42 seconds because it's 153,000 lines long. Okie doke. So let's move on to the next thing. So we found out how to script out a table, which once again, we can right click on a table, script table as, create to a new window, or we can save it to a file or a clipboard. And what that does is it creates the schema of our table. It tells us all the columns that are going to be in the table, the name of the column, and what types of data the columns will hold. We can also go drop to new query editor or new query window. This will generate the SQL required to drop the table, which is to delete it. We can right click on it, script table as, and do insert into new query editor window. And this will provide us with a script to insert records into the table. And we would simply take everything between these two arrows and replace it with the actual data, like that. And then for the date, we could put in a date of some sort. Oops, I want to make that a real date. That's how you would generate a script to insert records. We could do one to update to, and this would show you how to update the table. And you don't have to update everything at the same time. If you just wanted to update one column, you could. And then you could even update based on a certain condition. And generally you do. So you might want to say where the incident number is ABC123, just made it up. And perhaps we want to set it to something different. You get the point. And I think that's all I'm going to show you for this video. As you can see, SSMS is very feature rich. There's a lot of things you can learn. I'm still learning more about it every day. So take your time, explore SQL Server Management Studio. If you break stuff, that's okay. You can always just restore the database and start from scratch. It doesn't hurt to click around and try out new things. See you next time.